On this day in history back in 1911, a fire at the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory in New York City became one of America's worst industrial disasters. Flames raced through the top floors of a Manhattan garment factory packed with young immigrant women, many just teenagers. Locked doors, a collapsing fire escape, and an elevator that quickly failed left workers with no way out. Some burned inside. Others jumped from the 9th floor windows to escape the smoke and flames. In all, 146 people were killed in less than half an hour. Public outrage was enormous, and the tragedy helped drive major changes in fire codes, building safety, and labor laws that still protect workers today.